No,
Let's see. Anonymous raccoon, anonymous unicorn, anonymous pumpkin, and anonymous Dumbo octopus.
Well, now
Dumbo octopus. Holy
that's
cow.
interesting.
Have you ever
Man,
seen a Dumbo octopus?
I've not.
Why do they feel the need to
they
insult
are
the
so cool.
octopus?
They're a cool animal. It's not. It's a worthy title.
Is that
a good-looking
that's
animal,
A kind,
yeah.
That's a kind of octopus.
Yeah, super deep sea. One of those David Attenborough in a bathysphere kind of thing.
Okay.
Again,
Whatever.
I'm intimidated by his knowledge.
I saw a lot of interesting stuff about octopi not too long ago. They're neat animals.
Yeah, they are.
So we could do a whole show just about octopus.
Yeah, but let's not.
But let's
Oh,
not.
okay.
We'll wait till the tentacled Thargoid humans come out.
Well,
There we
8,
go.
yeah, 8 petals, 8 tentacles.
Oh my
Hopefully
God,
eight
Thargoids are
testicles,
octopus.
2 brains.
They were
right.
here all along.
They were in our 3 hearts the whole time. I am going to start now. It's the 4th of September, 2023,
3309.
and this is the Loose Screws Podcast. I've been liking that everybody's like singing. I've been putting it right on that, so everybody starts singing along with the music. I think it's kind of cool. So anyway,
Ding, 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 ding,
I like
ding.
it. Yeah.
They start singing things that sound nothing like the music.
This is now that I mentioned it, everything's gonna go to hell. It was working
we're
fine before somebody
next time.
looked in the mirror.
We're going to start singing Christmas carols.
I'm Commander J Antrax, and I am joined this fine evening by Commander Chig,
Hi.
Commander Indigo.
Hello there.
Actually, it's Commander Indigo because
Actually, it's Commander Mr. Indigo.
Commander Mr. Indigo.
Yeah.
Booptron.
Or
Nurgle. Or Booptron. Nurgle's here. Hi.
Boop.
Boop. And Teflon.
Hey, I'm here. I don't know
The
if you noticed.
12th or 12th most powerful.
I am the most powerful.
Yes.
They can get more
Well,
powerful with
The
more
12th
powerful
of his
eighth
name.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be the
let's see.
one.
You could be the one.
But I am the 12.
I've been gone a little bit, but I have been roughly following what's going on here in this here Spaces game. So I think I have enough knowledge to rightly chat with friends.
Starfield?
Nope.
Oh. That's what I thought you meant.
Nope. Didn't do it. But let's start at the top, Mr. Chig. How you doing? What you been up to? You've been going somewhere, I think.
Oh, last couple weekends have gone and done the Renaissance Festival thing, getting all dressed up, having a good old time. We were there yesterday, and it was, oh my God, it was 103 degrees. That's in freedom
Yuck.
measurement. That's like 39 degrees Celsius. So if we want to go, English units, it was 38, 39 degrees Celsius, 39, 40 Celsius. So really hot. And it was 55% humidity. So 55% in English humidity would be 55%. And we were there celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary, my wife and I. In English measurements, that'd be like over 500 fortnights, I think.
Yeah.
So our 500, hold on, let's Google real quick. Our 500
20 years into fortnights.
521.7857 fortnights, apparently. I've been married. That's a lot. Man, saying it that way is terrible.
Sounds good. Or bad.
So-
No, I'm on your team. It sounds terrible.
One fortnight
Yeah.
at a time, buddy.
I'm just trying to embrace our international friends and use, the other measurement systems that exist
Right.
in this fine world of ours, or as some people like to say in other measurements, this fine planet that we have.
Oh.
So we did that. I'm going to admit again, I haven't had a chance to play any Elite between, being gone like 7 of the last 10 days. I've been out of town. I haven't had a chance to really play or do anything. I'm sick of Adaxius talking about Starfield all the time.
Hey, if you're sick of that, I have news for you.
What news is that?
I can talk about Baldur's Gate instead.
Oh, I can talk about Baldur's Gate. But I will admit I am currently downloading Starfield because I will give that a try. Also, 112 gigabytes or something. The download is. It's kind of
That's a lot of gigabytes.
Yeah, I had to use one of my other 3 M2 drives that had no data on it in order to download it because my main one is full. So I'm finally tapping into my extra memory that I have.
You would hope so. I mean, $400 or $500 million doesn't buy what it used to, but you'd hope it would at least fill a decent chunk of a hard drive.
Yeah. So that's actually downloading. I hope. I don't know. If me downloading something while we're recording, is that going to give me awesome artifacts and stuff through this stuff? Or
I hope
what?
not.
I don't know. Me too.
Probably not.
Oh no,
You'll
it's
be
done
fine.
downloading. Holy crap, that downloaded fast. All right,
Modern internet, dude.
Yeah, well, I still have a dial-up thing that's going on. I was hoping nobody would pick up the phone.
It's high tech now, though. It calls you back afterward if you get interrupted. At least.
Okay. Gotcha.
Man, remember we had
This
to
wonderful
download
age.
images? Remember when we had to download images one line at a time?
Yeah, you just start getting close to the nipples, then somebody would pick up the phone every time.
I'm just trying to imagine 120 gigabytes at 14.4.
I started downloading it in 1994. It's just about done.
It's about done.
I don't think there's a
Oh,
device
man.
that would have a 14.4 that could store that much data.
I remember when Diablo 2 came out and we were all like around school talking about like how it was a huge game. It was a whole gig.
Yeah. One whole gig. Yes. But yeah, that's all I've got. So I'm sort of still kind of heat stroked after doing that because we went to that thing. It's like the King's Feast, the Feast of Fantasy thing. And that's inside like this building. And there's no fans and no AC or anything. And everybody.
It's too legit.
Oh, it was like 10 degrees warmer inside the building. That was like the whole theme of the whole thing is how we're in the whatever level of hell. I don't even remember which one they said it was.
Fair and suffer.
Yeah, have a 7-course meal. It's like it was like there was an appetizer, then there was a salad, and then there was a soup. And they said there's nothing, to get you through a hot day like a piping hot bowl of soup.
Oh my god.
It was painful. So, and I mean, this is Minnesota. People don't realize I basically live in like the Winterfell of the United States. If winter is coming, it's coming from here. So 103 degrees, I think it hit officially, is like insanely hot for us, and we're all in full Renaissance garb and stuff. I modified my costume a little bit to be a little bit cooler, but it was miserable.
He dressed like
There's a lot of bright pink people.
He dressed like Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale.
No, I dressed like Heath Ledger in A Dark Knight. That's what is the Joker, the famous medieval
Well, you are
character.
from Minnesota. You probably could get by with dressing like Heath Ledger in Brokeback Mountain.
You have been playing some Baldur's Gate.
That's a good movie.
It's I've never seen it.
It is a good movie, actually.
I don't know. I don't care about cowboys or anything like that, so I never watched it. So
Never mind. Go on.
I stopped right there. But I've talked a long time about absolutely nothing. So now that I've talked for, I don't know, about 4 minutes, which is about 8 minutes in metric time, somebody else can go.
Update on the dial-up. At 14.4, 120 gigabytes will take 771 days, 14 hours, 31 minutes, and 6 seconds.
It's amazing what you
According
can
to the
find
chart
when you.
that Nurgle found.
Yeah, it's amazing what you could find out when you Google.
But remember though that when you were watching that, remember to always have the estimated time, and it would go to like 3 days, and come down to like 6 minutes. That would go because it always came through at such an uneven data stream that estimate always went up and down. So I guarantee it said 1,000 years at one point if you'd have tried it, and then it would go down to that. But
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the browsers had enough digits to calculate that estimated time.
Very true. All right, carry on.
carry on then. Conander Mr. Indigo.
So
How's it
I
going?
feel bad. It's like, as a long story. I'll try and keep it short. But the name thing, I'm conflicted about the name because of these YouTube videos. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah.
There are like 3 of them now, and they're so fucking good. Man, they really are. That there's a few YouTube videos by Indigo, which is not me. Originally, once upon a time, it was Mr. Indigo. I think that name was like vintage Reservoir Dogs. It just kind of turned into Indigo gradually over the years. Super married to it, but I mean, I guess it's nice because when people, and I've gotten a couple of people have said, "Hey, nice video." I gotta be like, wait. And it's worse because I have like 3 or 4 videos up from like HIP 22-460. I went and flew in my Viper, and the first time, like we all went into that stuff, I got the kill shot by rear-ending the cloaca of a Cyclops. But I haven't really done much, and they're not edited at all. And this person is like a professional video editor who's putting together stuff that is full of love and effort. So anyway,
I'll start a Patreon.
Conander Mr. Indigo or Boobtron. But it's been a weird couple of weeks. I had a strange experience. The company that I worked for 7 or 8 years underwent what I think in rocketry they call a rapid unscheduled disassembly. And completely evaporated. It wasn't making money, and the presidents of the company or the founders, whatever, were old and ready to retire, and so they just kind of shut the doors, and we got like a week's notice, and it's all been very strange. I've been fired before, and I've quit jobs before. I've never quite had the Wile E. Coyote experience, though. You know, it's like all of a sudden it's just not there. It
just disappears out from under you.
Pretty much, yeah. But there's no, none of the people that I work with on a regular basis had much say in it other than to try and keep the company running over the last like 6 or 8 months. So everybody, is on friendly terms, and to have the person you sit across the table from for years to try and get a raise say, this is what you should ask for in these interviews that I've already set up for you because I got in touch with like 3 or 4 people at 3 or 4 companies. So it's entirely different from being fired, and it's entirely different from quitting with another job already lined up. So there isn't really the same like incipient panic, but I've also been playing a lot of Elite Dangerous. So those two things are kind of related. I've got like homework, and I'm reading a couple of books that I had been meaning to get around to, and getting back on LinkedIn and making connections and all that stuff. But I've also been playing some video games. So yeah, it's been a lot. It's crazy. All kinds of stuff. The 3 or 4 different like adventure veins in Elite that I'll bring up at various points. But yeah.
Oh man, it sucks that happened, but I'm glad it seems like maybe you got a hold on things.
Yeah, I mean, I had been in the position of intending to move to a different and better paying job at a different company, but when your job is making automation and you've done such a good job of making automation that you have plenty of time to think about stuff and work on longer term projects and things like that, that's something to stick around for. So I hadn't been super eager to move. So yeah, it was time for sure. So I'll be psyched to do something different fairly soon. But hopefully that won't change. And in a couple of weeks, I will still be excited and not hanging from the rafters in terror. But at the moment, things are looking all right.
Nice.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Mr. Nurgle.
Well,
How are you doing?
I have played neither Starfield nor Baldur's Gate. So I don't know how much I'm going to have to talk about with this crowd. I mean, that I haven't played Elite either. I was out of town almost all of last week at a conference. So getting recertified as a playground safety inspector, which is its own
a PSI.
CPSI. It's actually the logo, CPSI.
It caught me off guard.
Yeah, that was a fast acronym.
and it's the only fucked up certification I can think of where there is no continuing education. Every 3 years, you just retake the test. So,
You
which
just
is
redo your C.
yeah, you just redo the C every 3 years. It's frustrating as hell. And they still the guys who because one of the guys who was doing the course I was in is one of the guys who wrote the damn book. So you can't say he doesn't know what he's talking about, but they have no ability to write good test questions. The test questions are still atrocious. For every question where there's some test of actual knowledge, there's another one of those where there's 4 right answers and you have to put them in some order. So you're instead of a test of what you know, it's a test of how well you can guess what somebody else was thinking when they wrote the question. That's what it comes down to. I mean,
That's
here
rough.
Sounds like garbage.
there's these 4 potential life-threatening problems. Which one would you address first? You've kind of put me in a position where I have to guess what you think is the most important. So that's frustrating as hell. And there were 3 of us that went up there. I have been certified before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. The other 2, when they walked out of the test, had this look on their face like they'd been punched in the face. It's like, yeah, I know that look. I've had that look before. That's the look of I have no idea what just happened to me. So,
Do you at least find out right away whether you've passed or failed?
nope, 6 weeks.
Oh,
6 weeks.
because that's a good way to get some reinforcement.
That's fantastic. That's just great. Well, the first time I took it electronically. This time it was on paper. I took it electronically, and I walked into that testing room thinking, yeah, I got this. I've been studying. I've been doing this. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be fine. And I walked out not knowing whether I'd passed or failed until I got the email that said you'd passed. Yeah, and this time it's going to be 6 weeks before I get the result. But I'd be shocked if I didn't pass it. The other 2, like I said, they looked like they'd been punched in the face. But that was 4 days last week. But at least that was, that came with the city credit card and an expense account. So
Nice.
steaks.
Nice.
This time last week, the 3 of us were in a steakhouse spending that per diem.
Nice.
But I haven't done much of anything else. I really haven't had a lot of time. Got back into town Thursday afternoon and had to turn around and go to work on Friday because that's just wonderful. And then had to spend most of my holiday weekend catching up all the stuff around the house and everything that I should have done last week when I was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot going on.
All right, then. All right. And Teflon. What's up, man?
Oh man, the theme of how this year has been going for me continues with some other bullshit, but I'm really hoping we're on the downslope of things now, where things are going to be getting back to normal. Just continue to have surprises here and there. Not anything I really want to talk about off air on air, but
Yeah.
you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
good
one of
news.
those, life's raining a little bit. Yeah.
Good news. I have played Baldur's.
And you're ready to talk about it.
Yes. I made an evil character, and it's a lot of fun to just be bad. And
So everybody who's listening right now, before Tef reveals it, how many characters do you think Tef has?
oh yeah, think of that number.
Price is Right rules, or
Sure, yeah, go for it. And you know what, everybody? Wait, you guys know I said it already.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was all
know
prepared
already.
to guess just fictional. But 4.
Yes, I have 6 characters now.
Wow.
I have 6 characters, and they're all in some stage, first act, except for one. One of them is, well, actually, no, I have one in the second act, one in the third act, and one, and the rest of them are various places in Act 1. The one of them could go to Act 2 now if I wanted. The Paladin is a lot of fun. There's a couple of characters I haven't made yet that I really am looking forward to playing eventually, and that's a Wild Magic Barbarian and a monk.
Yeah, did you see what that somebody did with a monk? So it does like 300 damage in one turn.
Oh yeah, even I read that.
That's
Yep.
crazy. I don't know. I'm playing it through just. I haven't made a second character yet. I'm just playing it through the first time, kind of using this as my learning how to play the game and seeing how the story goes one time. And I've got ideas for multiple characters I want to do on my next playthrough. But I'd prefer, unlike you, just kind of shotgunning it. I want to play through. Then when I come through again, I won't remember exactly what choices I made and kind of go down completely different roads. So I got different ways of doing it.
My sorcerer was I had every intention of playing all the way through the game, but then I got to Act 3 and I was like, well, I'm not gonna play a whole bunch one night, and then I was like, let me just check out something else just to kind of refresh the palette, and I made a paladin, and I was like, this is awesome. I love this. I love being a goody two shoes and standing in judgment of everybody else. And then it's just kind of snowballed from there.
Okay.
So I didn't intend to do this. It just kind of happened. So, I mean, it happened, but I should have figured because it does. That happens to me when I play games like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, all the time.
Everything you play. Just one random video game thing, not to cut it on your turn.
You're okay.
Dead by Daylight, I told you I've been playing quite a bit. They just added the Xenomorph as a killer from Alien and Alien, the Alien series movies. It is the best fucking killer ever. Lots of screams were had when we were playing against that killer the first couple times. Just if you play Dead by Daylight, it's so much fun.
What are you playing it on?
I play on my Switch. My daughter's playing on the Xbox right next to me. Her friend plays on the Xbox. Another friend has a Switch. Yeah, it's crossplay.
I might do that because I would love to play I used to play Friday the 13th game, and I really enjoyed that.
On my daughter's birthday, she had 3 friends over. So it was her 4 friends, and they wanted to do custom match. So I had to play with them. So we had to figure out how to get it so everybody could play. So I was playing on my PC. My daughter was playing on her PC via Xbox Game Pass. Her friend signed into her Xbox account on our Xbox. I bought a copy of the game for our Switch, and then her friend had brought her Switch over. So we had 5 versions of the game all crossplay on the same Wi-Fi network. It ran smooth as can be. It was rather amazing, actually.
Nice.
Awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
nice.
I know we've got some Aliens fans here, and it's super badass. It's so much fun. So
yeah, I really want to check that out now. Maybe I'll I'm gonna go figure that out.
And I play as Nicolas Cage every time, just so you know. That's my survivor.
Nice.
Yes. So sorry for cutting in on you. Get back to Baldur's Gate. Go for it.
You're all good. You're all good. I'm pretty much done talking about Baldur's Gate.
All right, then let's check in with Trax then. What's Trax got going
on? I've been away. I have, for example, when I signed into the game today, when I signed into Elite, I had 2 carrier weekly upkeep things. I think it's been quite some time before I literally hadn't signed into the game for more than 2 weeks. But I don't know. I didn't feel like there was anything for me to feel like doing in that time. So I didn't. And I was playing, when I was playing games, I was playing Into the Radius, which I bloody love, kind of an indie game. But at this point I've completed it now on even also again on the harder skill level. Really, really fun game. VR game. But I started teaching this course at the university. Tomorrow we're going to start week 3 on that. It's going pretty well, although the very, very good joke I told did not get any laughs. Do you guys want to know? Can I try it on you? It didn't. See, considering I feel actually okay because the thing I said earlier got a lot of laughs tonight. So this is a course about like intro to sound equipment and stuff like that, right? So the other day I said to them, okay, so we're going to start talking about how humans hear sound and how it's different than certain things. And in order to do that, we have to talk about some units of measurement, like the decibel. And I said, can anybody tell me what a decibel is? And, they said, it's like a loudness. It's like how loud something is. I said, a decibel is 1/10 of a bell. So you guys laughed way more than they did.
I think that was just me, but yeah, I liked it.
That was
I
that
just
was
Still
not a
way
groaned.
more
laugh.
than they did.
That was not a laugh. That was a groan.
Well, anyway, it's true. It is 1/10 of a bell. It just doesn't matter.
1/10 of a bell
Anyway.
minus an L, isn't it? Doesn't decibel like only one L
no,
at the end? Oh, or does it have
Yeah,
two
it's
L's?
still
Okay.
named after Alexander Graham Bell, but yes, in
Okay.
the unit of measurement, a bell is only spelled with one L, even though his name had two. Blah
Oh,
blah
what's
blah.
the British unit of measurement for sound? Aluminium?
It has a U in it. It's the same unit. It just has a U in it.
Decibelium?
No, they
It's
actually
a-
have a bell as well. It's just based on an actual bell, so there's the conversion is totally off the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
one
a
is
loudness,
actually a
the
bell, the other
loudness
the
of
guy
this
named Bell.
particular bell.
Right. Yeah, there's a single metric standard bell, not the one in Big Ben. It is in
I
Big Ben actually, but it's not the one in Big Ben.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
the whole-
I thought
exactly.
we had the metric one because we've got Dessa, but never mind. We're going down a rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I apologize.
Okay, well, I've felt I'm feeling okay about the course, but I'm still pretty stressed out each time, like just trying to prep like what I'm going to go through, and I'm still pretty out of my element doing that. So I don't know. I just haven't felt like getting any streams going or anything like that. Just didn't quite have the energy. So, but I think I'm going to start playing more, pick up some of this BGS stuff that we've got going on lately, and try to get back into it. So. Yeah, that's about the size of it for me, I guess. Yeah.
All right. That's sweet. All right. Good to hear.
I was I was enjoying the podcast last week, the tier list, even though you guys got most of it wrong.
I mean, if you wanted input on what we did so far, you should have been here for it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I missed it. I'm gonna. If we're gonna get back into that this week, I'm gonna need a quick recap. Because
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
sorry,
have to,
guys.
like,
I didn't
we'll
get a
have to
chance.
touch
listen.
on the rest of them and see how they came out. No, it's the art of something like that is how long the discussion ends up being. It's ridiculous how long it takes to get through this stuff. But there's no other way to do it, Anyway, I was enjoying myself.
Well, I
But
mean, I
how
felt
can
like
you-
it would
how
be
can
a
you
good
come down to
discussion
it?
topic.
Right, exactly. It's like, how can you come down to like objective measures about opinionated things?
I mean,
and-
yeah, it's all subjective. I mean, so
Right.
it's all just trying to come to some consensus on where you should rank things. I mean, we did it in my wrestling Discord with certain members of the roster,
Mhm.
and I just thought this would work really well for discussion on this show. So
Yeah,
That's
it works
where we
great.
went.
It's a great framework for talking about all this stuff.
I think it's cool. So maybe we'll hop back into that. There isn't that much going on here this week as far as Elite is concerned in the news. There was an update, but there wasn't a stream because it was postponed for illness. And there's a little bit of lore stuff going on. But let's do our rundown of things, starting with the beloved squad briefing. Here comes the intro.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
Okay, housekeeping note. The new soundboard is very loud. Okay.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Sounds perfectly normal on my end. Sorry about that. I don't know what to tell
Objection
you.
noted.
That's okay.
Yeah,
my
Adjust the
eardrums will
volume of the
recover.
Discord bot.
That's my eardrums will recover.
Yeah.
right.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you can each
I know.
person can individually adjust the volume of. Okay.
Yes, but see, who remembers to do that ahead of time? Like,
Yeah,
somebody of your age.
beforehand.
I tested it before
Thanks,
we
man.
began. I don't think you were in here. And anyway, sorry.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
I'm there for you.
So we have 4 wars currently going on. Calarum is still a mess, but that's kind of the way things are. We have a handful, or a small handful, 2 or 3 systems that are in the kind of the overheating range where we need to keep an eye on, and we're trying to get HIP 4907 prepped for a possible future expansion. We don't want to push it over yet. We just want to kind of edge it up. The details for all of that are in Blooming Wind's outstanding and highly detailed standing orders post in the standing orders section of the Discord.
Fantastic as always. All right. And as I flip my tabs back and forth, let's go on and do our Blame the Bard segment, or Tinhadium Express. I don't know. The Blame the Bard thing, that brand has sort of fallen by the wayside to the Tinhadium Express.
Mm-hmm.
So I should just quit that. Here comes the next episode of the Tinhadium Express.
On the board, the Tinhadium Express!
Oh, a lot of news this week.
This is usually the part when I try to banter you into stalling.
Yeah, but this week I'd like you involved. Feel free to make your own comment on each story.
Really? Well, then let's get started.
August 28th, Rackham refutes rumors. Foremost presidential candidate and future-elect refutes duplicitous accusations forced on him by a conniving journalist.
Does your recent search history include thesaurus.com?
Yes, shut up, moving on.
Got him!
August 29th, Thargoid War Update for August 3309.
Can we skip this story?
Yes.
Skip. But when does this game get fucking good?
August 31st, Human Presence causes Thargoid withdrawal.
They just left?
Looks like it.
So you're saying they bugged out?
Oh my god, moving on.
And it's gone! This line is for people who have money with the bank only. Please step aside.
September 1st, materials received to construct Duval statue. Rumor has it, this was a highly profitable CG.
Do you think Princess Ashling's statue will have blue hair?
No, but I'm sure it'll be feature-rich.
That's a penis!
September 1st, Aegis leak confirms vanishing populations.
Why would they hide this information?
To keep the public from panicking, I guess.
Panicking? From the Thargoid invasion?
Yeah.
What can I do anything right?
Hey, robot.
Yes?
How is you can pronounce Thargoid but not West Virginia?
No reason, puny human.
Alrighty then. That's all we have for you this week. Have fun out there.
Good night and sleep well, meatbags.
Classic.
The plot thickens.
Meatbags.
My lord.
I guess we're
Well-
stuck with that term now, right? I mean, is that part of the human vernacular that AI will eventually inherit? Have we already
Meatbags?
doomed ourselves? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else could it be?
I don't know. It's
I mean, not in Stellaris. You ever played Stellaris? There's a you can play as a rogue servitor where you use the humans as batteries and you're maximum pampering.
and they don't use
have
the
to-
meat bags.
Yeah, you keep them in a state of bliss in order to get them to generate energy.
Hmm.
That was the
It's
Matrix.
like the Matrix, except fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the story arc he's got going. I can't, we all
Yep.
see where he's going with it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Twists and turns around every corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. Indeed.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So, the big discussion thing, which is probably not that big, was this business with the leaked Aegis comms, and first of all, good, fun voice acting. I'm sure I'm the last one to have finally listened to these because I just signed in today and they're in everyone's inbox. But if you didn't notice, dig into your inbox in the game, and you'll find some new discovered logs that were somebody hacked and emailed to you. And the fun part about them, I thought, was that they're dating back to July 18th. So like this conversation happened a while ago, but the those involved kept it a secret, and now it's just been leaked to us by a benefactor of some kind, right? We don't know who.
I know nothing about these.
Oh, they're great. You should totally, you should.
It's okay to spoil this, right? I mean, this went into everybody's inbox, so we're just going to freely talk about it. So the conceit is it comes in the form of 3 voice-acted logs. It's a conversation between Alba Tesro and Aiden Tanner, but then Co Janae hacks into the conversation when she's apparently not supposed to tell, even though she's like the only one who could have any fucking information about this compared to these other two. And they're like, what are you doing on this call?
She jumps in their Discord.
Yeah, exactly. It's
exactly.
like she's the actual important one in this call, and you guys are mad that she got on. So that's sort of silly, but so they're talking about all the humans getting stoled, and how that picked up pace a lot recently. And they talk about how, like, the numbers of, they have these like survey science from the number of refugees that have made it out of Thargoid invaded systems doesn't match. And it's like by this astronomical number, which is probably the number of people that would have been, taken by the Thargoids.
Right. And the abandoned installations are not full of bodies.
Right. Exactly. Like they're missing. Yeah. And Seojin says that she believes they are keeping the humans as a resource, that they are on board the Titans and they are some kind of resource. She says not food, not fuel, but they're needed for the next phase of the invasion for something.
Yes! Labor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Labor.
Okay.
Raw materials.
Yeah, I mean, they're needed for something. They're
classes.
being kept. She says she sees things that look like eggs, but then they turn out to be pods. And
then that lines
all
up with the Inara leak from a few weeks ago, right? The Xeno prison pods, they were called. Did you see that?
I didn't. Tell me about that. Oh yeah,
somebody saw after the last update. I think FDev had set, probably from testing, had 2 or 3 stations or megaships that had buy prices for the Xeno prison pods, they were called. So they showed up in the API on Inara, and somebody noticed and posted a screenshot. So presumably there's a equivalent to escape pods that will be heisting from
right
yeah,
the Thargoids.
That makes sense.
So I guess the tease is like, finally, like the next thing is going to happen. But then there's this line in there from, I think, Alba Tesro, who says, charged with creating some way for us to liberate the humans that are stuck on the Titans. She says, but our pilots would have to fly dangerously close to a Titan, which is like hilarious because we've been doing that since like the very first hours. Right. But it also, that just says, that screams out to me like this is just the same old like breach with Olympic gameplay, right? If the problem is that I'm going to have to fly close to a Titan and not that I'm going to have to dock with it and breach it and go inside.
Yeah, we're going to be taking escape pods off of megaships for sure.
Exactly. So I find the whole thing to be just like, okay, well, we haven't gotten to the new content yet.
Hopefully that leads to the anti-Guardian field device.
Yeah.
Because I was watching a YouTube of somebody doing AX combat at a Titan, and it just looked like a pain in the ass. I mean, really, just
it is
all those all those multi-cannons, and just a lot of grinding and avoiding and
just holding the trigger down. It's
exactly.
just holding the trigger down the whole time.
Make the trigger a toggle at least. Yeah. But at the same time, I haven't been anywhere near a Titan in ages, so I think I'm going to have to go farm up some more caustic tissue samples and maybe make some more Grelics and tuck them on my fleet carrier, because people who haven't already gone that direction will inevitably want to head that way, and not all of them will want to go through the multi-level skill development of getting caustic tissue samples and all the rest of that, which is perfectly fine gameplay if you're interested in doing something you haven't done in Elite. But if you just want to, take a shorter cut to get in there,
you could try CQC. Am I right?
No, you're not.
And
it's
since they
busted as
changed
hell
since the
and
last
not
update,
fixed.
you can now charge prices that could make those useful, and like in terms of worth putting some time into. If you could get 160 million credits for spending an afternoon farming caustic tissue samples, that's very different than it was before.
Yes.
Right.
I made a bunch of money selling out one of those things. I don't even remember what it was. Something I totally boosted up the price to max it out and sold them within, the better part of a day. I don't need the money, but it was still, it feels like something worth doing if you can turn a reasonable profit, even if, you've got 2 years worth of money on your fleet carrier already.
Sure. I mean, the Titan's still a great set piece. I loved it. It's just, I just don't have any reason to keep going there, right? There's no plot reason why I need to keep collecting these little bits of things, and I'd be happy to once they have a use.
You just don't know what to do. There's a ton of stuff out there. Just nobody's figured it out yet. You didn't realize that?
I've been looking for some of it, only kind of loosely, but after the last New Guardian Battlefield site was discovered, I came across somebody on Twitter who was jumping around in the territory between that and the kind of orthodox Guardian sites that we all go to get our blueprints and whatnot, and found, I found 9 or 10 new systems with brain trees out there, and it would occasionally get notes from the Canon plugin that say there's a Guardian site, 80 light years in one direction or another. It seems like has been enough of a push from FDev in the direction of, hey, don't forget about the Guardian stuff, that it's been kind of fun doing a little bit
that's
of
where all my hopes lie.
And, I think they're hopefully it doesn't get too jacked up with the salvation stuff, but I guess they've signal boosted that enough as well that they'll probably end up doing those two things together, since one will require super activation of some new Guardian resources. But yeah, whatever. There's so much great stuff in the whole Guardian lore and sites and tech and all the rest of it. Seems like time for that to rise to the fore a bit to get us through the Thargoid business.
And perhaps a new enemy. He said, hopefully.
Yeah, perhaps, yes. Yes, hopefully, he said.
We'll have CZs with Guardians on one side and Super Revenants on the other. Skimmerfest.
Yeah.
I want walking human zombie hybrids. I want them.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, I don't believe you. I think you're trolling me.
Did anybody ever play Marathon? You guys know the game Marathon from the 90s?
That's the Bungie.
The original, the first
game?
Bungie one. Yeah.
There's a great. I did not play it.
One of those like seminal video game experiences for me was when the fake human zomboids show up. They're not zombies, they're replicants that are like acid bombs that blow up when they get close to you. And the first time it happens, it's like the world is ending. It's just, it doesn't make any sense at all. The game already messes with your head in ways that you'd expect from a Bungie game. And then this person is like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And they blow up right in your face and cover you with acid and you die. And it's like there's no precedent for that in my experience in video games up to that point. That was not something that could happen. And so I still have a little bit of a soft spot for the idea of the weaponized fake humans, but
if they're just acid bombs, that works for me too. We don't fight zombies. We just got to kill them before they get to us, or they.
And you can't tell which are people and which are exploding people mines.
This is clearly an alien situation. They're going to come back with little worms in their guts. They're going to burst out and eat people's face off.
I mean, it seems like so much of the Thargoid stuff happens on planets with really low gravity. like all the reactivations are on like 0.1 or lower. So it's like their anti-gravity tech isn't really very good. I suspect that if it were on like a beefier planet, the revenants would just kind of drag along the ground. So I could imagine that they'd have to do something to co-opt human bodies to be like, you know what, we could build something from scratch, but we've got millions of these stupid meat drones. Let's just do something with them and make them blow up or somehow inflict them on our opponents. Or maybe it's just an engineering shortcut. They're like, you know what, we need weapons that can go where people go. How about people?
We need something that can walk.
Right. It turns out they're actually really spindly. Although that one, I guess that one.
They're too dumb to invent wheels, so we're just going to steal people and turn them into. Just never mind. I'm not
They
there.
just when they can traverse hyperspace easily and natively, they just find walking on a planet to be way too cumbersome.
Right.
Well, maybe they come from a low gravity world.
Stealing our SRVs
so.
and doing something with them is way tougher than.
I mean, from that Witcherly thing where he loses his eye, you get the impression that they're fearsome monsters. But at the same time, he's the one telling the story. You know, it could be like 3.5 feet tall and gimpy, and it's got one sharp claw that took his eye, and he's like, "Oh my god, you won't believe it! It was
You wouldn't
12
believe
feet
the
tall."
size of this fish. Yeah.
He was running with scissors anyway.
Right.
My God, this game.
Well, I still hold out hope that the Thargoids think in a way more alien way than we do, and it's not going to be something simple like the humans become the weapons.
The problem there is the people programming the game are humans.
Well, they've done a pretty good job of making it of making them not respond to the communication and the way their bodies work and all this, the way they seem to think and move, even when even when we thought we were in a war, there are, there are Thargoids on the other side of things that are behaving totally differently. And I don't know, there's a lot of things here that line up with, I guess, what I would, if I was the one writing the story. I want my space aliens to be so different, just ununderstandable.
And you're hoping for nuance, not
well,
and you're hoping for nuance,
yeah,
not just this or that, and have some variant.
Yeah, they've certainly done a good job in the past of making non-human things that feel non-human. Including the way the ships fly. We could very well have ended up just fighting fancy-looking FDLs. But even, the new ships don't fly like people would fly them. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly optimistic that they'll do the same thing with the rest of it. Obviously, the Revenants and the Scavengers and things like that are fundamentally and totally inhuman and creepy looking, and they've done the same with the Guardian skimmers or what do they call them? Sentinels, whatever they are. So I'm optimistic that whatever they do, it will be sufficiently foreign to creep us the fuck out.
Or the Alien franchise was just licensed out to Dead by Daylight. Maybe Frontier got a hold of an Alien license and they're saying this is the xenomorphs, 1,000 years in the future, and they had evolved to what they are now, and now they're going back to their roots and stealing people and putting face huggers on them, and I'm just grasping at straws, guys. I give up.
Well, the trouble with people designing aliens is you can only ever design things with the help of a human perspective, because that's all you can ever have.
And a human perspective that's never seen an alien.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So you can only really come at it from human.
But I mean, there is a lot of work that has been done in terms of theoretical exobiology and things like that. They're
of course,
like legitimate science where people have thought about how you would solve various problems of, like the Project Hail Mary, right? That's got a lot of that is about exobiology.
Don't you ruin the book? I haven't played it yet.
We'll get around to it. It's aging.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it yet.
It has an alien that aliens there. I ruined it for you.
Fuck. Yeah, the alien in that is fantastically designed, so different.
I didn't even know there was aliens in it.
Yep, thanks, guys.
I talked about it at length. Don't even lie. Don't even try to lie. Another one that comes to mind, another one of my favorites, the movie Arrival.
Just rewatched that the other day.
Very aliens, one of my favorites.
And The Thing, for that matter. I mean, horror classics. The alien in
Sure.
The Thing is just horrifyingly alien.
Yep.
That is horrifying.
Well, what about Thargoids?
Yeah.
You know what? Now that you mention it, they're pretty good too.
They're pretty good aliens, yeah.
Fucking A.
Just prove that Teflon's wrong.
Or
that
right.
We can't come up with good alien ideas.
No,
how
I
would we
didn't say
know?
you can't come up with good alien ideas. Like, there's all kind of good alien ideas. I'm just saying, like,
I think he was just saying it's hard.
yeah, you just can't. You just can't.
He's cutting them some slack. I don't like that.
You can't design things from a non-perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. They should just invent a wheel and
Excellent.
make Thargoid tanks and come get us.
Oh man, ground vehicles. Could you imagine how sweet that would be?
I know,
Thyroid
right?
ground vehicles.
Takes 3 or 4 scorpions to take one out.
You know, I was fairly certain a few years ago that we were going to get like, we're going to get like a Thargoid ship. We can. Nope, nothing like that.
not unless you're a hacker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That guy
That's
sucks.
just a skin.
That guy sucks. The people who do that suck, and they should be banned. They should be shadow banned so they don't even know they're banned.
How come nobody's in my instance?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna find anybody played this game.
I'm in open. What's the problem? Nobody plays this game anymore. It's the best.
This game is dead.
They just keep wasting their time. Hey, so this
Maybe that's why so many people complain that no one plays this game. They've been shadow banned. They don't know it.
Well, I like that one. I like the one thing that they used to do with I think Xbox. You would just get your reputation score you would only get matched up with other people with low reputation scores. And
Right.
it's like, so what happens when everybody has a low reputation score? We're all back together anyway.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up here, isn't it?
Exactly.
I think so.
That's how
Yeah,
we
exactly.
all found our way onto this podcast.
Oh, that's how we fix the connectivity issues. We just all be bad and get put into the same pool, and then here we are.
Roger that.
Okay. All right. Let's so there was this 16.01 update that came out on what the hell day did I say it was?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Tuesday?
It was a
The
day.
29th. Yeah. So let's see. What'd they fix? There was a bunch of little fixes. Was there anything important that stood out to you guys? There's a VR game crash that was happening. I think we had Scotty and I had that worked out so that it was something to do with shadows. If your shadows weren't on Ultra, it didn't happen. But anyway, apparently it was something they managed to fix. Some mission board fixes.
Yeah, there was some engineer unlock mission that stopped showing up, I think.
Oh yeah, Serious Permit was failing to show up, and that's supposed to be fixed now.
Yeah, that's
there was supposed to be fixes to the the auto dock and auto launch for the cutters, but then apparently it wasn't good enough. And this whole conversation, I was like listening to Lave about it. And it was funny because, of course, right as they do a CG that involves cutters, because everybody's moving tons of metals, and then they try to put this fix in. And so maybe somebody can help me out here. Like, was the auto dock extra broken in the lead up to this patch, or were we just trying to fix the fact that it's always been kind of fucked up? Because since I started playing this game, I've heard stories about auto dock banging you into the edge and blowing up your cutter.
My understanding is that it was extra broke.
Okay. So have they at least brought it back to just being normal broke?
I have no idea.
It sounds like it is back at being maybe even a little better than normal broke, but
better than before. All right.
Not a module I use, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to test because in order to test it, you have to take off and land in a cutter, which takes 8.5 minutes. So
yeah, well. He's not wrong.
Yep. Well, anyway, this patch has actually a rather long list of individually somewhat small fixes. There's graphical things. There's language and localization things, some prices, some of the things that weren't working quite right about the new fleet carrier commodity market prices. Some things got fixed. Oh, and some stuff for limpets too. Oh yeah, this is what was teased out. So some fixes to limpets to try to make them smarter around objects and surfaces. They won't crash as much. Specifically, they mentioned picking up things off the ground, which has always been very difficult. It was usually whenever I was trying to do one of these missions where I'd collect some commodity from a surface, I usually didn't have an SRV, so I would just I tried it with limpets. Every once in a while you get a limpet to work, but usually you just scoop right off the surface, just grind the hull into the surface and scoop the thing. And it was tricky because every once in a while you hit something the wrong way and then it would clip into the surface of the planet and you'd never be able to get that commodity again. Then you got a menu log to get the things to respawn and finish the 6 units or whatever. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So anybody tested collecting limpets? Collector limpets on surfaces yet?
I haven't tested them, but I came across a discussion on Psychit's Discord. Commander MD13 is a master of the limpet warfare and the much vaunted sample collection to drive away Thargoids. And was commenting that not specific to surfaces, but that something had changed in the way that limpets maneuver, that they were either holding their velocity or not holding their velocity when they made turns, that now results in them coming back faster and has fixed some other behavior bugs that they were having. So I think that somebody did a wholesale upgrade of limpet logic in order to release the scythe. And this is fine tuning of that. I think we're on limpet probably 3.0 by now, but compared to the pre-scythe limpets, we're on limpet 2.0, and somebody figured out that they figured out why they were having trouble with stuff on surfaces, and so they tweaked something about the way they maneuver. But
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But I mean, the idea of having actual fully functional limpets for ground stuff could transform things like going to the crystal shards for raw mats.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the current meta is for dealing with that, but I suspect there's a way to go down there with some mines or missiles and a whole crap ton of collector limpets. And
I was about to say, it'd be so much easier if I could just hit the whole site with a whole bunch of dumbfires and then send in the limpets.
You may be able to now.
It makes me wonder about collecting the sap at the Barnacle Matrix sites, because that's the new thing from 16, right? That was happening at surfaces. So, I don't know if missiles would do it. It'd probably be the only way to successfully hit them and knock them off from your ship. But if you're in your ship, if you never touch down onto the surface, the Revenant don't really show up down there. So you'd be able to do it with impunity if it worked. Although it's not particularly difficult to collect sap. If you can only hold a few of them at a time, and they're caustic, so you need to get back to your ship and dump them into your ship soon anyway. So, anyway, I thought that was a bit of fun gameplay. The new Barnacle Matrix, that's what it's called. Collected me some sap one day. Worth checking out.
And interesting strategic implications too. I mean, clearly the Thargoids are here for a while. If there are some controlled systems that they're putting an anchor in, that
they can't
game
be pulled
mechanics
out
wise,
of.
obviously they can't be evicted from, but just in terms of strategy, early on they seized some of the meta alloy stuff in California, wherever that was,
or Colsack. I don't remember one of those over
maybe
there.
Colsack, right? But obviously there's something. When you invade someplace, one of the first things that you want to do is get some kind of infrastructure production set up. So it makes sense that they'd be digging in and growing something or other. Even if there are always people there trying to take it. But
yeah.
Right.
Very interesting.
Neat.
All right. That's about the size of it. Right. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Check it out. Links in the show notes. So, I've got nothing else. Do you want to talk some more Let's update Chig on the tier list of ships.
Man,
Oh,
how many
sure.
ships did you guys cover last week?
Well, here, let me share my screen with you
I
guys.
think they got like halfway through or something.
If not, it's awfully close. Yeah.
Oh, let me do one more current thing real quick before we jump into that. We just finished another Buckyball race.
Oh yeah.
This one was maybe the third iteration of the Perico run, which is in the strange Perico system where there are 6 stations all around an invisible comet. That once upon a time I think was going to look like a comet, but what are you going to do? And in the race, the challenge is to take off from one and go through the set of all 6 in a certain order, take off land, take off land, take off land. They're all so close to each other, you can immediately drop out of Super Cruise. So there's no like real Super Cruise racing element to it, except for 2 of them that kind of tipped so that you'd be coming in on the side, so you kind of have to drive around. But anyway, it's a great race. It's exciting. Everybody I think was beat by the end. In the past, I think maybe it's been like a midweek kind of thing, having a full 7 days to spend exactly 20 minutes, basically. The race is you spend 20 minutes going through this lap, and your final score is the number that you get after 20 minutes has run out, and then the tiebreaker is how long it takes you to do the whole thing. And the winners, Shea Blackwood and Skur in the unlimited and regulation categories, I can't even imagine. Shea in a Viper did 20 landings in 20 minutes and 20 seconds, which that's numerically kind of feels like cheating to me. I don't know. We'll take it though. So yeah, 20 times he took off and landed, and it only took him 20 seconds over the limit.
Wow.
I can't even fathom how you get in and out of a station and then jump to another one in a minute. Other than, I mean, he released early on in the week of the race, he released some of his clips of him basically landing at every pad in a Coriolis station. So one of the things that he does is fly a lot. He's super, super good, but also relentless about it. And the short answer is you just know exactly where the pad is, hit it at full speed, and land immediately and exactly on center. No problem, right?
Of course.
I couldn't get anywhere near 20, but
that's so easy.
Yeah. So
you did that in a cutter, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but it was great. I'm super glad it's over because I'm sure I landed 300 times in that system over the last week and a half, and got a lot better at landing an eagle in the process. But I'm ready to play some regular Elite Dangerous again and do some exploring and shoot some things in the face and shoot some people in the face. But yeah, so the next one will be coming up in a few weeks. Keep an eye out if you've never tried one. It is an entirely different way to play Elite Dangerous that is as fun and compelling as the best of them.
All right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And since somebody asked earlier, they did 18 ships. There's 20 left, so we're basically halfway.
Yeah,
there aren't nearly enough ships in Elite Dangerous, guys.
I know we need more ships.
Need more.
We do
We need
more
to get to
ships,
50.
though.
If we don't have 50 ships, it's not a real space game.
I just want to say this. I'm looking at what you guys did last week, and I'm like utterly confused by what criteria you were having to put these ships into these tiers.
Well, did you listen to the show?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
I already
it's a
did. I didn't.
discussion-based thing.
It was Lark's idea, right?
No,
No,
I
it was
think
my idea.
This is
Oh,
Teflon's
yours.
idea.
Okay.
This is my idea to do this, and then I just, I was pretty passive about my own opinion because I was hosting and doing all this stuff, and I just wanted to do discussion amongst us. So just to go over, especially for the listeners who can't see this. In S tier, we have the Vulture, the Chieftain, and the Cobra Mark III. In A tier, we have the Cobra Mark IV, the Challenger, the Asp Explorer, Federal Assault Ship, and the Mamba. In B tier, we have the Viper Mark III, the Adder, Federal Gunship, and the Cobra Mark IV. I think in A tier that's a Viper 4.
Thank you. I was going to ask about
Yeah.
that. It seemed a little high for a Cobra Mark. B seems a little high
B is where the Cobra Mark IV is. Okay.
for a Cobra
In
Mark.
C tier, we have the Imperial Eagle, the Sidewinder, the Alliance Crusader, and the Keelback. And in the D tier, we have the Asp Scout and the Federal Dropship. And that's where we left off.
Okay.
Did you guys just like nominate a ship then decide where to put it?
They were just going down the list. There was a lot of
yeah.
discussion.
I just
opinions.
was going from left to right as you guys can see it, and I would pick one, and then we would talk about it, and I would just place it as once we reached a consensus.
I think my
close to
favorite bit of
consensus as we can
reasoning
get.
was the one that put the Vulture in the S tier. That was essentially, if you flown Vulture, that was like the extent of the judgment around the Vulture. I thought that was pretty solid.
If you flown a Vulture, what? You
know why
there.
it is
You
up
cut
at
out.
the top. Yeah.
Okay.
I do really like the Vulture, so. But the next one we have is the Fer de Lance.
All right. As the resident preacher of the virtues of the Fer de Lance, I feel that we have to have a discussion about criteria here. Because if the criteria is how well-rounded it is, that's D. if the criteria is how good it does its one thing, that's S.
Yeah. So as I'm listening, like I said to you guys, like I'm listening and sort of shouting at my headphones sort of thing. The trouble with anything like this is it's right. Obviously we can't actually do this, but like it's that some ships are multi-purpose and some ships aren't multi-purpose and some ships are, it's like if we were going to rate them how good they all are at combat, then we can make a tier list. And then once again, over the whole thing, how good they are at some other thing, right? But that's not fun either. So
it's just like level of objective quality, like how well it does.
The whole idea behind this is to generate content discussion and drive engagement. You know what I mean? So it's like, tell us where you think they belong.
I planned it firmly in S.
Firmly in S for its combat ability?
It may be a one-trick pony, but damn, is it good at that one trick?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it feels like it has so defined a major like subsection of the game. It feels like it kind of has to be up there.
I once heard someone describe it as if the Red Baron were in Elite, this is the ship he would fly.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And I would say the Red Baron would be so good he could fly anything he wanted, and he would not fly that because it's insulting to his ability. But
yeah, when you hear sentences around like, "Oh, if you see a Fer de Lance, then you should X, Y, and Z." I mean, clearly it is.
Yeah.
It is a dominant combat ship that is beloved by people who are good at killing other ships.
Well, because Lark isn't here to just say how
to throw off the
it needs
curve.
to be. Yeah, because it is the meta PvP combat ship. It can't be up there because who wants to fly a meta ship? Come on, guys.
You want to move it down?
How would you know it's a meta ship if it's not up there, though?
Exactly. I was going to say, this is actually the one ship where I sort of agree with Lark that it deserves a few minus points for being so ubiquitous. It really is an S tier ship, but if I was doing this list, I would personally put it in A because when I fly it, I'm always like, but I'm doing I'm not challenging myself, Although, on the other hand, it is a little bit of a challenge to fly. They have that,
Yeah,
they have that built into the game.
If you were going to do true PvP, wouldn't you want this ship? Like
maybe,
if you were going to do real in-world open
It depends
PvP?
on whether you were...
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Not always. It's very good
not
for
if you're dubs, but like for the rest.
No, I mean if you want to enjoy your experience, you might not. That just the fact that it's the most dominant ship in terms of combat effectiveness doesn't mean that it's the ship that you actually want to fly to play the game.
But that's because if you beat somebody else in that ship, they will simply say you use the easy button. I don't know.
I actually have a slightly different argument. So the last time some PvP was happening around they had to switch out of it.
They
had to switch out of it. Their Fer de Lances were not catching us.
Yeah,
I had a Mamba. Shig had a Phantom.
I was in the Phantom. Yeah.
They had to switch. They had to diversify in order to beat us. So it doesn't end all fights.
No,
so maybe A tier is where it goes then.
Maybe so.
Fine with me.
But man, if we're talking mining, it that pushes it back up to S tier, doesn't it?
I think for a discussion like this, though, realistically, like we're talking about using it for what it's fun for, whatever ship, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I suppose.
Yeah. I think that's a good.
Not
That's the way
mining,
I'm choosing to think about it.
Only Lark Shadow would build a mining Fertilance.
FTO. He probably
Or
has.
exploration.
Cannons.
Right.
Can
All
it
right, next.
carry an
I'm
SRB
gonna take
though?
an FDL
That's
to
the question.
Colonia.
I don't even know.
It can. It
Oh, it
can.
can.
Two
And
of
then
them
Lark
actually.
might use it. All
It
right,
can,
yeah.
but then it
All
can
right.
only make like 4 jumps before you have to refill.
That many?
makes sense.
I think that's optimistic.
Crate Mark II.
Crate
Oh,
Mark
wow.
Some
II.
ships, boys.
S tier.
Crate Mark
S-
II
S tier
is
gotta
S
be.
tier.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
S tier
S-tier.
by default.
Yeah.
Because that is my ship.
It's the only ship that literally can do anything.
It
And
is
do it
my
well. Yeah.
favorite ship in the game. It could take a fighter. You can have it do anything. You can make it do exploration. It's not the best at exploration, but you can do
It's
it.
not the
You
best
could
at
use-
anything.
You
It's
can
not
use it
the
to
best.
fight. You can
But
fight
it's good at
Thargoids in
everything.
it. You
Yeah.
can fight people in it. You can fight PvE in it.
You can haul
You
cargo
fight
in it.
Honestly,
asteroids in it.
you can
Yeah,
make an argument that a lot of things it's like second best. Like behind
Yeah.
the Fertilance, it's right
Yeah.
up there
At-
for
yeah,
PvP.
at everything.
For
Yep.
bug hunting, it's right up there with the Chieftain. For medium ship mining, it's right there behind the Python. For it's right
Yep,
there.
it's second
not
best at
the
everything,
best,
just
yeah.
like the Anaconda.
This shit
Fuck
is
the
my
Anaconda.
Mark II is for.
this is my Millennium Falcon. This is
Yep.
the ship. Like if there was if Ready Player One's virtual game existed, this is the ship I would fly in that game. I would want a Crate Mark II.
And see, the next ship you pull out is going to be the ship
Yeah.
that I would do
Well,
for that.
so Crate Mark II gets S tier for being second best at everything. Okay, go on. The Phantom.
All
S
right,
tier.
all right. Phantom probably goes in the B tier.
You are out of your fucking
Oh
mind.
my god.
No
that's
way.
not right.
You're out of your mind.
Phantom
You
is
are
S tier.
incorrect, sir.
Phantom is S tier.
All right,
Absolutely
well,
S tier.
all right. Well, let's hear arguments for where the Phantom belongs. Let's go. Starting with Chig.
In the argument for best exploration ship, just for cockpit view, ability to turn and super cruise, ability to have great jump range, everything else. Combat, it just has a little less fire than the Mark II, but flies like 50,
Way
70,
better.
80. It's just a better, it's faster. And if you really know how to use it, I think the curves are really close on maneuverability, but I feel I can fly that.
Phantom's a little better on that too.
Aesthetics, I love the Millennium Falcon kind of thrusters on the back. That's why mine is the Millennium Phantom. This is my Millennium Falcon ship of this game. It does everything. It's same as the Mark II, only a little better in some cases.
It does everything. It does everything kind of second best, just like the Mark II, except it doesn't have a fighter. But for not having a fighter, it becomes literally the second best exploration ship or second longest jumper. That doesn't mean you're the best exploration ship, but that's one of the main features. So it goes from sort of like it's possible to explore in this crate to it's literally like the one I would choose every time.
There are a bunch of people who genuinely love exploring in a Phantom.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've been to Beagle Point twice in a Phantom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you only have to go
Well,
to
the
fighter
Hydra
for that.
Polo
combat
in a Phantom.
Yeah.
So where are we putting it?
Phantom was the
Yes.
AX meta when I started doing AX combat around here.
S.
Everybody was
S.
flying Phantoms.
Yeah,
S tier?
it was our Discord's meta for a while there for bug
It
killing.
was. It was.
It really was. Okay,
Until we
well, the
had to go
next one we
pro.
have is the Python.
A tier,
B.
I think.
Space truck. It's an A.
B.
It's an A.
I think it's an A.
So this is like the next level of the Cobra, right? This is like the one.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
This is a Cobra one size.
This is the
up.
one you use to get all the modules for your Mark II before you have a Mark II.
Yeah.
I always felt like the Cobra was more of a shrunk down Crate Phantom, actually, because it's faster in a straight line and Anyway, this doesn't matter. This is silly discussion, but
it's
literally everything you say about the crates is true about the Phantom. It's just not quite as good as the crates at.
But
It's an
reason
A.
Phantom ends up in the A though.
Python.
Python ends up in A for the simple reason it's the best medium miner, and it's the best medium passenger carrier there is. Like burning stations and stuff. If you want something, you're not comfortable flying a large ship into a burning station, and without a docking computer and stuff. That the Phantom will carry way more passengers than any other ship in that size. And mining,
Python, you mean? Yeah,
Python. Yeah, Python.
Yeah.
And
I just don't personally like it. That's why I put it down.
Dubs would have it at D, but
it's armored to hell and back. You can actually make a pretty good fighter out of it.
You can.
Plenty of PvP. Fly them. Yeah.
It's an A.
I love
feeling.
Like
let him talk.
Like my Python is my mining ship, right? And it's perfect for that because the amount of time I can utilize to go mining and get a whole inventory full, right? Get my cargo hatch full, my cargo bay full, it equals the amount of time that I have generally to play when I go mining. So it's the perfect size for that, and it works great for that, and I enjoy that. However, I would knock it down because this shit is fucking ugly, man.
It's not a lot of fun to fly either.
And it's not fun to fly.
It made me my first billion credits. That got me my first elite ranking. That got me to Jameson. I got to put it in A.
It's an A. It's a solid A.
It really is. I mean, to me, it's kind of the adolescence in elite kind of ship. Like, when you learn to do something, you learn to do it in a pilot, or you learn to do it and then you say, okay, I have to do this to make 1 billion credits, or to unlock all the engineers, or to do this one thing. It's like the point at the game where you figure out thing that you're going to do is about the point where you can afford a Python, and so you can specialize it to do whichever of those things is the next chapter in your elite journey, and it does it fine. And then you upgrade and put all the gear in a crate something, and you never look back.
I was playing around with I was like, well, I want like a smaller, like instead of using my Type 9, maybe I want to run like some cargo stuff that's like a little smaller ship, a little bit better to handle. I said, let me look at this Type 6. You know what I mean? And the fucking Python is better at it than the Type 6 is. Like, why wouldn't I just go with that? So, I'll give you the A tier on the Python.
Okay. The next ship, you mentioned it. Type 6, I'm just going to say this about the Type 6 right now. Yeah, D tier. I still, to this day, I think that's only a ship that NPCs fly. Why is it in the game? I don't understand.
Truthfully, it probably belongs in C, and the keelback should be a B. But since the keelback is sitting there in C, we got to put the Type 6. So the keelback is a Type 6 that's been refitted to carry a fighter and have extra guns. It's a cheap, basically the first like haul, not a tiny miner. Ship. Yeah, it's like the cheapest sort of early miner that isn't just like a tiny ship where you're going to have like 16 tons. Right? Yeah. And you could easily skip right over Type 6. You should be going for keelback if you're at that stage of the game.
Yeah, so. I mean, like I said before with the keelback, as you know, that I don't see people flying keelbacks. I've never seen anyone fly Type 6 ever, other than NPCs.
Ever.
Yep.
Yeah, NPCs. Keelback, how I said the Python got me my first billion. It was going from a keelback, one load of void opals gave me enough to buy a Python. So
exactly that.
I used
that for me too. Yep. And then I got out of it as soon as possible because I was like, this is a garbage ship to fly.
Oh, it flies
I don't
like
want
shit.
this.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I had to be shieldless to have enough freaking cargo space to get those void opals. Yeah, I was terrified. And then moved on with
the next one is the Anaconda.
B tier.
It is the second best ship at anything as long as you don't want to land at a small pad.
Or turn and super cruise at any good rate.
Actually, the only thing it's best at is jump range.
So. Yeah, I was going to say jump range. It beats everything on jump range.
But not by a whole lot.
And that's because of a glitch, isn't there? Is that no true story, right?
There's
about the
for
the Anaconda?
There's no fabled crate phantom graveyard. It's an anaconda graveyard.
Touche.
It's see if it's up to me, but that's because I don't favor large ships for almost anything. So
and I'm with
probably
you,
belongs
but
to
I
B.
think it gets the B rating because it's just you can do absolutely anything with it.
Yeah.
It's so versatile.
All right.
And you can get it for free at Hutton. So I
Yeah.
mean, you
I
can't have a
remember-
free ship any higher than B.
I remember when an anaconda was the fucking goal, man. That's how far
Yeah.
back I go with this game. Is I remember when that was what everybody wanted.
I think
And
it's
I
still,
don't own one and never have.
I think it's still kind of there among people who don't necessarily listen to Elite Dangerous podcasts
Like
and watch
Adaxius.
streamers. You know, like in the game itself, there's this feeling of, oh, I'm going to get to an anaconda as
there was
some kind of achievement in the game.
It was definitely the goal for me as someone who really didn't want to do the grind for the ranks for Imperial and Federal. I really just wanted to play the game, and so
it's the one you can buy for cash. Yeah, that's true.
I had my good friend Dubs. I said, I said I want an anaconda, and here's what I wanted to do. Can you please design this in Coriolis for me? And he did, and that's where I got Mary from. So Headless Queen Mary, when she tears up a combat zone, that's who did the design for me.
Let me say this.
15,000 hull points.
I think Anaconda should be A tier just because it is the best jumper. It can do a little bit of everything, and all of us have an Anaconda story. Everybody who's played this game, I think it's too ubiquitous with this game to not be A tier. I'm just saying. I don't like ship. I never fly.
You make
it.
a point. You do make a point.
It's a tough fucking ship too.
It is. That's how I killed my first Cyclops. Is just armored up a freaking Anaconda and just face tank the shit out of it.
bully.
You know.
I mean,
yeah, that's how I killed my first Cyclops.
You make a good point because I do not own an Anaconda. I have never owned an Anaconda, and I have an Anaconda story. So you make a good point.
Yeah.
All right. What's a call?
Starts with A, should be Anaconda. That's why Adaxius likes it because it starts with an A.
No.
B.
Terrible.
No, B.
It's
B.
so hard. It sucks so much to fly.
Okay, it's either A tier or it's off the list.
Fine, bully A tier.
I'm fine either way, honestly. Off the list or an A, I'm fine.
I think we should hold our ground and keep it at B.
It needs to stay at B.
I'm going to give my recommendation to have it at B. As much as I love it,
Ooh.
I don't use it for anything else.
The
when all
Arbiter
the weapon
has
stabilizers
spoken.
came out, and when we were doing all the Maelstrom stuff, I really tried to find good uses for an Anaconda, and did the whole 6 shards and the universal multi-limpet controller and everything, and it just hurts. It's just uncomfortable to fly in Super Cruise and to fly in normal.
You know what my
space.
Anaconda's named? I named it Stupid because I always say, God, I'm going to grab my stupid Anaconda. So I just named it Stupid. So
all right.
The Beluga liner.
The Beluga.
I
love my Beluga.
I built a Beluga.
I built an exploration.
Neither have I.
I built an exploration Beluga to have because I was inspired by Commander Picard on Twitter.
Yeah,
because that's what he uses, and I loved it. So I did a build out on Coriolis, and I built it, and it's meant to be an exploration support ship. So for when we do our distance cruise expeditions, I can take that out, and it can bring fuel if somebody runs out of fuel. It's got repair limpets in case someone has some hard landings. It can charge shields just because. Why the fuck not? It's got a fighter bay, SRV bay. I kitted it out. Just to be an exploration ship was as much shit as I could think of that I could be used on exploration.
Is it good?
I like it. The jump range is decent, and it handles way better than I thought it would as a large ship.
It really does. It's a remarkably pleasant to fly for a big
all
ship.
those Saud Krugers ought to be good at Super Cruise, right?
It handles way better than an Anaconda. Let me tell you.
It does have some problems though.
It is nowhere near as tough.
Way too small.
For how many hard points it has super large number. I mean, they're not very big, but there's a lot of them.
4 mediums, right? I think so.
Oh, I thought it
I
had
don't
like 6
Maybe
hard
4 or
boards.
5 mediums, might be 3 and 2. Either way,
Hold on.
Hold on, I'll
it's
look.
almost it's. I built one with plasmas and
pulling it
rails.
up.
That's kind of fun just to show up and kill things with a
5
cruiser.
mediums.
Yeah, it's three mediums on top, I think, and 2 underneath, or maybe the other way around.
It was 5 mediums. Yeah.
You can do some damage for
Wow.
sure. The problem is the distributor is small, so you have to pick carefully, or you just end up using all
It's
your.
a size
5
6 distributor,
multi-cannons.
smaller distributor than a
Phantom.
than a Mark
Yeah.
II or Krait.
Yeah, it's weird that it's such a big ship with such a small distance.
So where do you put it?
Limits it? But
You guys who have flown them, where's it going?
no lower than B. I mean, I don't.
I put
B.
it in C just because like that's really the only. I mean, I could see using it for like the big like passenger missions or like like for the rescue to get as many people out of the station as you can. But
its reputation for
it
being
is-
stuck in the mail slot with its
is-
tail.
it is hard.
legendary.
It can be hard to get in and out of the mail slot, and so that's why I put it in a C. Not to mention, like my favorite thing to do is I can't wait to go back. Is to go to Explorer's Anchorage and just watch belugas explode. You go into Explorer's Anchorage. You could sit there on the mat and just watch the beluga debris float all around.
You can also go to Hot Jupiter and spend some time fragging belugas there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good beluga carnage to be had.
Specifically about rescues, though, it actually has fewer, smaller space for rescue humans than an anaconda. It is technically worse at that job than an anaconda.
Well,
in its best configuration, because I tried. I was
cabins,
really trying to not use an anaconda when we were.
Isn't the Corvette
war
right in there
first
though?
started. The Corvette's not.
Passenger?
It's not as good. Well, passengers it depends because economy cabins. The Corvette is very, very good for that, because the issue is economy cabins only go up to size 6. So these larger cargo ships that have larger slots, they actually fall behind some. Whereas like the Corvette has more smaller compartments, more size 6s than other large ships.
I thought I'd heard sometime that the Corvette, because of the smaller size and stuff, it was actually the one that you could cram the most cargo.
I think the Corvette is by like 3 passengers or something. If you're going to totally min-max it, which is not what you want to do for AX Rescue, but anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I could make your argument that it belongs in S tier because it is in the top 1% of all.
All right, you're the man, Teflon. Where are you putting it?
I'm going to put it at C. Is my opinion.
I agree. For the simple fact, who the fuck actually flies one? It's such a small
I do,
percentage.
and I like it, and it's fun to fly, and apparently that matters to me, but maybe not enough to push it up a tier.
The Federal Corvette.
Yeah, I like it, but like that's the only thing I use it for is that exploration. I have no desire to take it out for anything else. Right. So next is the Federal Corvette, and we're just going to put that. I'm going to make it E tier, and we're going to put it right down there, and then we're going to tag Ty in this post. No.
And Psych It.
Get Psych It too.
And Psych It.
No.
Until I really learned how to fly,
for the Corvette is legend.
I considered it an A tier. Once I really learned how to fly, A would be the top. I'd go with it just for large ship combat prowess.
I think it's A. Its only drawback is the jump range.
Yeah,
I've never flown
it's good at a lot of things besides jump range.
It has to be a tier above the Conda. Period.
I will say I'm definitely not crazy enough to fly one of these shits to fucking Beagle Point like Ty did.
Point. It does turn faster than any of the other large ships, and that means a lot to me because I much prefer mediums and smalls. So I'm happy with that one in A tier.
It's also really good at ramming your allies. Just ask Data.
Yes. Data switched the Corvette's ass around like nobody.
I smell blood in the water. The Clipper.
The Clipper.
Make an E tier for this guy.
Look, the Clipper. Everything you say about the Python is true of the Clipper. It looks better. It handles better.
Except it has garbage guns.
It has one absolutely fatal flaw. Large pads. It is a
that too.
G tier. It may be an M tier.
No.
It's weight.
You can't make a ship with this format only have 4 guns. It has disadvantages that the Phantom totally makes up for in having 4 guns. The Python and both Krites totally outclass this thing. The gun mounts are absurd.
Yeah,
the fact
the
that there's
convergence
only,
is terrible.
have I mentioned that there's only 4 of them on a ship that needs way more defense to fight it to fight off somebody like me? I just instantly blow them up. They instantly die. Oh god.
You should have a seething hatred for target, isn't it? Shouldn't that be on a target?
I can't think of anything I'd want to use a clipper for.
Right? Except getting blown up by me.
Yeah, I suppose. Like, it doesn't even look good enough for me to be like, yeah, it's just a cool ship I want to fly. Like, no.
Move
like,
on.
I'm no interest. The next.
It's beautiful. It's fast. It requires a large pad. It's garbage.
Yeah,
we're putting it in D tier.
Yep. It's garbage. Yep.
Imperial
D tier. It fails at everything.
Cutter.
See,
it's
only because it technically can't be the same level of badness as the Clipper, but it should be.
No, but it does some stuff that's just. It's got a lot of really good uses. It's A or almost S.
It's a stat monster. It's a stat monster.
Dubs has one he uses for AX sometimes.
It can 20,000 hull.
A lot of people use it for mining or for trade runs.
Dude, I use it for my Thargoid system reboot missions. I use it for everything, man.
We went hunting. We went ganker hunting with a guy from another Discord that had a cutter built for PvP, for hunting gankers.
That's common. Yeah,
that's common because it mass locks. Yeah.
They always got one in the flight.
And if I was gonna get onto Elite and grind out the ranks for a Corvette or a cutter, in my opinion, I want to go for a cutter because I can use it as I like to have the Crate Mark II is my Millennium Falcon. It's my I want to use this for everything ship is what I use it for. And I like to switch and change the parts out for different things. Kind of like it makes me feel like, that gives me that feeling of like I'm working on my own ship. The Imperial Cutter is the one I would want in a class up, in a large class. I want that one would be like my Bebop from Cowboy Bebop. It's my big ship.
I think, as far as if I'm being serious for a moment and not just like Justin hates cutters and clippers, if I'm being serious for a moment, I don't think we're putting any large ships on S tier. And I don't think we're putting any ranked locked ships on S tier.
Why?
I mean, I'm fine with putting.
I'm observing. Okay. No, I'm just observing what's happening.
Well, I'm giving the argument.
I would argue against it if you started to. I would say we shouldn't have. I don't think anything that's behind a rank lock belongs on S tier, and I just don't personally like large ships, so I don't put them on S tier.
I don't necessarily think it belongs in S tier.
I would argue it for an S tier for a couple reasons. A, it's the big. What is it? Flex ship or whatever. It's
penis. The word you're looking for.
Exactly. There you go. Yes.
It's the flying butt plug.
A second, I hated it at first. I mean, its biggest downfall is it takes forever to stop and it turns slow in Super Cruise like a lot of large ships do. But it is the ship if I need a tool that can just do things that other ships can't
plug that butt.
It is an easy mode for a lot of things like glaive hunting. It's the absolute easiest ship to just go murder glaives with. It's silly how easy it is to farm glaives with that thing.
To walk through a maelstrom.
It has a lot, but I'm okay with it at A tier. Same spot as the Corvette seems fair.
Not to mention if you jump into a system and you see a hollow square and they're flying a cutter, you pay attention. You know what I mean?
I'm not worried about that.
If you see a person flying a cutter, you pay attention to that.
If I see him flying a Mamba, I pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong on that one.
It's the best large cargo ship in the game. It is hands down the best laser miner in the game.
I'll argue it's the best core miner too. Now that I've actually core mined with it, it's slick as shit.
You know, I don't mean to throw shade, Teflon. If somebody's flying a cutter in PvP, I'm not worried about it because I'm just never flying something that can be caught by a cutter. Because I keep my ships very fast. It doesn't mean that they're not a strong PvP thing. It's just that I don't care. Like mass lock, I don't care. I'm still going to be able to leave. I'm not going to be able to shoot them down almost ever because that's the thing about a cutter in PvP. They've probably got 22,000 shield.
Right.
You know?
You can actually make an indestructible cutter.
And
the whole idea is to
under
mass
it.
lock them. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that one's A.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yes.
We'll put it an A.
Yeah, I'm good with
It
that.
does,
So
it
the
does too
Orca-
much of everything to be any lower, but it does it with little
Yeah.
enough finesse not to deserve to be in.
The
Some of
stat
these
monster.
next ones we can whip through pretty quick. I think I'm looking at what's
The
coming up.
Orca.
Orca. Still never flown it.
I think a
Did-
B.
I
I
don't
think
know,
if it were,
distro.
I think,
Nope.
Yeah, the distributor. It's again the Saud Kruger
kills it.
ships suffer with
right.
their distro.
I have flown an Orca, and I think it handles well for what it is.
And they're faster than fuck. If you
yeah, they are.
outfit them
but
right.
I don't really have a use for it though. Like I don't
I
really.
really like my Orca, and I use it almost exclusively for Maelstrom stuff now. It got me hundreds of caustic tissue samples. It's the only
Is it real
problem
cold?
with super cold
Yeah,
and super
cool.
fast. It only has 4 utility slots though, so you kind of have to skimp on the caustic refills. But once you get into the Maelstrom, it's a breeze. But
Well, I'm doing all mine
it
in
has
a
no
Mark II. That only
combat
has 4.
utility because the distributor is tiny. Again,
Yeah.
and it's a
that's how I
large
gave up.
ship. If it were a medium ship, it could jump, up 2 tiers easily. If it were like 6 feet shorter, it would fit on medium. But
Right.
the fact that it's a large ship and doesn't have an SLF, which again I don't really use, but it's like it should have one of those things. So
Well, either of those would kick it up to B tier.
For me, it was with it just real quick is when I was trying to solo different Thargoids with everything. This ship seemed great because of its size and speed and everything else, but that distributor, it just killed it for me. I just can't. I can't fly it.
You got a weapon focus, and then you realize you can't turn like you want to.
Brutal.
Yep.
It's brutal.
if all you care
so
about
we're
is
all
flying it, though, it actually flies pretty nicely.
It does
It's
fly
surprisingly
pretty nice.
nimble in regular space and in super cruise. But
So
yeah,
so we're keeping it at a C tier then.
Yep.
Yeah.
See. Yep.
Okay. The next one is the Type 7. So let's all explain to Volt why it belongs in the D tier.
Because
this
one
is
word,
another one of
trash.
those large pad things. It ought to be a medium ship, and if it was a medium ship, it would easily be a B tier ship because there would be a lot going for it. But
it's one of those ships you get once so that you can load it up with gold and then move on.
You sell it along with the gold. Just take the whole thing.
Exactly.
Please.
Yes,
It's another ship that I don't understand the appeal of having it.
Yeah, it's because he wants to meme us. That's all.
Well,
Volt's
I mean,
doing.
I understand what Volt's doing. I mean, if he likes it, and that's fine. Fly what you like. That's okay. But I'm not going to rank it like highly.
I'm not going to
because,
rank it based on that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
the
know one
exception,
guy-
not the rule.
I know one guy that flies Type 7s, and that's all I've ever seen of him, other than NPCs. I've only ever seen one person fly Type 7s.
I know one guy who owns a Type 7.
I know one guy who owns several.
I know that guy too, and I shot down his Type 7 in my Eagle while we were doing the anniversary show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right.
is D tier.
Yeah.
D.
moving on.
Yeah, D.
Oh man, Volt is yelling at his headphones.
He can come on
We
and
love you,
descend at
Volt.
any time.
No,
To
he
the
can't.
heavy girl.
Moving on.
Pay attention in class. All right. The Type 9. The
Type
Type 9
9
goes in D tier because I fucking hate it.
I
hate this stupid space
It's
cap.
B. I think B.
B
For what it's made for, it does it as good as anything.
amazing cargo space,
no.
decent jump, and
It's my
the
fuel
price.
hose.
It's the price.
It's a fuel hose.
It's dirt cheap and it's a great
How
fuel hose.
quickly
Nothing-
you can,
nothing
as
fills
a new
up.
commander, how quickly you can get into a large pad, super high capacity cargo ship is what's getting this onto B tier.
Just don't
And
fly
actually,
anything.
it's quite graceful with flight assist off, and
It is.
actually kind of fun
That's
to
true.
move cargo in. I way prefer moving cargo in this than a cutter.
Honestly, that'd be the ship I'd say if you want to learn how to do flight assist stuff, it might be a ship to do it. Just
I still
pretty
remember the
handle.
first time I flew a Type 9 with. I had just learned how to do flight assist off and had spent like 3 months in a Chieftain, flying around and no longer looking like a baby bird. And I was doing some CG or something in a Type 9 and came into land, and it was like a leaf landing on a sidewalk.
Like
it
a
was
leaf
not
on the
like
wind.
trying to parallel
Yeah.
park a U-Haul truck. It was so radically different just because of that little change. Yeah.
It
The only
doesn't move that quickly, but you have all that time to just plan your route. You just do a nice swoopy path and then land. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Type 9
can't
easily beat
stand. I can't stand the Type 9. I hate it. I think it's a big ugly fucking space cow. The
Oh.
only redeeming things I like about it are it transfuse fuel into my fleet carrier quickly,
Yes.
and it has a pretty cool looking bridge kind of cockpit.
Yes. That's why the next ship to me, I'm going to argue for A tier.
Next
Uh-oh.
ship, Type 10 Defender.
A tier.
I really want to like the Type 10. I have tried to use it effectively in several different
You might be
scenarios that
closer.
were all combat based, and I think I agree with where Teflon just dropped that in
Oh, I
C.
hate you.
I
No,
don't like it.
Cockpit
What I
in
really-
VR alone makes it B tier.
When I first heard about and was looking into like the kind of ships I wanted to work towards and to get into, I was like, man, the Type 10 Defender, look at that. That looks
Right.
like it could be so cool to have, is like this big like armored like assault, like vessel. And
Go on.
it doesn't work that way. Like when I saw it, I thought miniature Death Star. What I got was
Put 7 pack hounds on it.
can't kill anything because you can't
Yeah.
catch it.
It's the slowness and the abysmal turn rate. The only
Stern,
thing that,
you're fine.
the only thing that you'd want to use it for is combat, right? And
Yeah.
I know some
it's-
people use it for
it's
mining.
not fun. Well, it's just okay. That's fine.
I
It's
have
actually
one that
probably
I've
a
used
better
for mining
miner.
because I don't have a clipper.
Yeah,
cutter.
it's probably better for that because you're not needing to like turn fast, but
And you can defend yourself while mining.
Yeah.
That's kind of like why the cutter's a nice miner.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it's better for
Yeah, I just treat
mining
mine
than
like
it is
like a
for.
Type 9 with armor.
It's
Yeah.
better for mining than it is for combat.
yep.
I've never I've been killed one time in my Type 10 in combat, and that's when Ty and Trax killed me, and they were both in Corvettes. So come on, that thing's a tough bastard.
Yeah, I'm putting it in
It's
C
tough.
tier.
It just doesn't matter.
Against 2
And
Corvettes? Come on. All right.
I don't think
all
you're
right.
going to convince anybody else. Ben.
No, but I'll just override it later. I'll tell everybody that we voted it was A. Nobody listens to the show anyway. Go moving on.
Okay.
The dolphin.
What's that? Dolphin.
I will put
nice
this.
ship.
I
I
think
would
At
put
least
this-
a B.
I
I
might
would put it
argue
in the
for
B
A.
tier. I'd put it in the B tier simply because, like, it's really it's good for exploration. It runs cold, and you can jump like almost as
Yeah.
soon as you enter a star system. You don't have to wait to get away from the star at all. You can immediately start that frame
Yep.
shift drive up.
You can
And
completely
on-
ignore the heat mechanic in this game. if
on
you're
raw
flying a
stats, it's
dolphin.
on raw stats almost as good as DBX as far as jump is
Mhm.
concerned.
Doesn't it
and
take
more
a
stuff
nicer
on it
ride.
than you should be able to. Like
Doesn't it take a
every
small
time I look at the
pad?
optional internals, it seems like it has more than something that fits on a small pad and has that footprint should be able to hold.
Yep.
Which is
B
what
or
makes
A.
it great for exploration. You can put
The-
so much stuff on it and still have a shield and still have a huge fuel scoop
The
and still
resident
have an
Stout
SRV.
Kruger affiliate is really making a good argument, you guys.
Yep. I'm
yes,
hearing
he
it.
is.
Yeah,
Hey,
and it's a fucking beautiful ship.
I mean, like in the exploration channel just a couple of days ago, Grover was talking about looking at the various ships. He was trying to figure what he was going to use for his next thing, and it is almost to resentful meta level for how good it is at doing exploration stuff. Like it's just such a good ship for going out in the black for an indefinite
Oh,
period
man.
of time and doing whatever you want. If that, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to argue for it to be S tier because it only really does that
He's,
thing, but it just does it well.
Yeah. But
I-
I think B is where it should sit. I like your arguments, but
I would put it at B as well because I that's what I like about it. But like, mean,
I
that's-
never
that's
fly
really-
one. I've tried.
That's all I would really ever want it for. You know, I can't imagine myself doing anything else in it.
Let's go ahead and leave it at B, and let's put
fine.
something on the calendar. Let's put something on the calendar for a Dolphin AX squad.
I would
Night.
be there for that.
And
It's-
let's
it's a-
smoke some Thargoids and Dolphins, and then we'll see if we can put that sucker up to A tier.
It's got to be a Dolphin AX pod because it's a pod of dolphins.
There you go.
Yes, you've done it.
Yes.
You've cracked the code. So
Yes.
Dolphin
Because
AX
you're right
pod,
though. There is kind of an AX angle. You can do some damage with a dolphin. Yeah.
I think, and they stay cold. So I just think, like, especially with a pod of us, I think let's see what's the biggest Thargoid we can smoke in a
Love it.
pod of
I'm
4
down.
dolphins.
I'm game. Yeah,
I'm
All right.
down. I'll build an AX dolphin.
and it
straight
will
up.
earn its A tier if we have fun.
All right.
If we don't,
have fun,
it stays B. So it
right,
has nothing to
right,
lose.
exactly. There's nothing to lose. All right, Diamondback
Diamondback
Explorer.
Explorer.
It's
It's obvious B. Yeah.
it's
I'm
a
putting
B.
it in B.
Yep. We don't even have to talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I just
That's
say
just where
like
it belongs.
it is my Diamondback Explorer. If I want to go out exploring like on a whim, it's ready. Like all I gotta
Yep.
do is hop in it. I can go jump
It's my
wherever I
jumper.
want to go. It takes no time to fill up and scooping from a star. It can go. I can take it all the way across the galaxy and back.
Yeah,
I can
but
circumvent the galaxy.
Its
no
biggest
problem.
downfall, though, the only reason it wouldn't be maybe an A as an explorer is the fact it scoops so slowly. It's annoying. So, but
Well,
that's my only
You
gripe
can
with it.
sacrifice. You can sacrifice a
I know.
little bit of range and use the
but that's
bigger.
why it's an.
So
B.
I'll tell you what I use mine for mostly now, because I have sort of a outfitted roughly explorer, but really just sort of bubble jumper one. But because it has a couple of hard points, including a size 3, I move guns around to, like, I'll take a gun out to the engineer really quickly in this ship and then fly it back. Like, I rarely move my carrier around to do engineering stuff.
That's
So
a good
I'll
idea.
grab this or
I just
you
do
know,
it
if
in
I
the
want to do
Phantom.
more of them, I do it in the Phantom. But
Yeah.
this one, the way
It's a
they're
good bubble
outfitted,
taxi,
this one
for
moves
sure.
a little faster than my Phantom. So, yeah, it's good for that.
That's what I've used it the most for is exploration and the bubble taxi. You know,
Yeah.
I used to jump to before fleet carriers. Before I had a fleet carrier, if I wanted to engineer a ship, I would jump to the location and have the ship sent over, and then do the engineering. But like I've taken down on a few expeditions, and it's great.
Yep.
Okay, 4 to go.
Especially
Before we
if
go,
you're
Diamondback
going
Scout.
out to the especially if you're going to a Guardian site.
Let
Yeah,
me just
you
say
can
right
land.
off the
Yep,
top,
yep.
Diamondback
Diamondback
Scout S tier.
I'm gonna go B. I'm A tier. I'll go A tier on the Diamondback
It
Scout.
is an unbelievable sneak attack
Yep.
fighter. It is one of the best small
cold.
ships for
So
combat.
cold.
It is cold as hell. I've blown up every Thargoid except a Hydra with it. It's unbelievable. It's almost overpowered. In fact, I almost want to take it off the list when we do Piranha Squad nights because it counts as a small ship and you have no idea how much power you have. It's a miniature chieftain. Nothing maneuvers like this thing. It is the best flight assist off ship in the entire game. I can't say enough good things about the Diamondback Scout for
That
absolute
sounded very
serious.
hyperbolic. Wow.
If there was
I'd
a-
go A for sure, but I'll give you the S. Go for it.
If there was a submarine for space, this is the ship that it is. Like I've flown a Diamondback Scout and I enjoyed it, and I have one in mothballs somewhere. I got to get it back out.
Yeah.
But like Dubs' Diamondback Scout has sold me forever on this ship
Yeah.
because it runs cold. You cannot. The only
can't
way you're
see
going to
him.
target Dubs is if you can somehow see him. It's like, and he paints it midnight black. Like
It's
It's sick.
ship is
It's sick.
beastly.
Yeah.
They call it a scout and you think it's going to be like a little cousin to the Diamondback Explorer or something, but like whatever the little changes that are the differences between those two ships, this is a combat ship. Don't
Yes.
even think about it for anything
100%,
else.
yep.
It's a combat ship and it is awesome at that. Unbelievable.
it will fuck your whole world up before
Yeah.
you even realize it's there.
If you
like,
like chieftain gameplay, this is your new friend. You should check it out.
So this is the equivalent of a fast attack submarine in space.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
The Eagle. The regular
Mark
Eagle.
II.
Eagle Mark II.
Since you put Imperial Eagle in C, this one has to go in D, and I don't think either of them deserve to be that low.
Yeah,
but I
me
think
either.
that's
They
fine.
should both move up. I mean, I saw see
Yeah,
the
I
I Eagle in
agree.
C. I sold a Basilisk in an I Eagle. That can't be a C tier
What?
ship. Jesus.
We can move it up. Like, I'm open to suggestions. I like the idea of an Eagle. I've only ever really flown an Imperial Eagle.
I'd go BC on those instead of CD.
Imperial Eagle is a direct upgrade of the regular Eagle. It's just that it's rank locked, but it's the first one you unlock. It's not hard to get to. So I think the Mark. I mean, they're fun. They're very fun. They have very small distributors, and that means you have to be careful flying them in combat, but they can be very, very fun. And
Eagle has literal flames come out of the dashboard when you're flying.
every time you get hit.
Both of them do, yeah.
So what
every
about
time you shoot
maybe
all your weapons?
Maybe a B tier, like, because I have flown now that I think about it, I've flown a regular Eagle in CQC, but that's not really the same as flying it out in open or like in the regular galaxy.
Yeah,
I think they should be above. I think they should be C.
Yeah, the I Eagle.
B and C.
I Eagle should be the one that's in B. If either of them are in B.
I'm not moving ones that we ranked on before.
Well, then put it in C.
Put them both on the same tier.
That's fine.
I think so. I don't moving that guy who says the same thing for everyone, but the Eagle flies better than the I Eagle. I don't know why it does. It's not as fast.
They're
but
great
if I have
Piranha
to pick
Squad
a ship
ships
to fly,
I Eagle.
Yeah.
Ahead of the Eagle.
They're so fun for Piranha Squad.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love them. Yeah.
All right, we have 2 more ships. Next is the Hauler.
Well, that's S tier for convergence alone.
It's got a big ass.
Convergence is unmatched.
Yes.
It's got a big ass.
Okay, I engineered 2 haulers on 2 different accounts over the last 2 weeks. Would you believe?
No.
Okay.
But go
on. Seriously, yeah. I really like it for doing exobio and exploration with a fleet carrier.
Yeah, it's really basically a shuttlecraft.
But with 2, it's a Star Trek shuttlecraft for sure. I have realized that this game has gotten so much faster at the transitions between modes that landing and getting out of a ship is faster than getting into an SRV and driving around to go get out and scan things. But only if you can land close enough, which a hauler does brilliantly, and you can spot bacteria on the ground because you're right there in the front. There isn't, like, the landing gear isn't super obtrusive. I'm not arguing it belongs anywhere higher than, C, maybe B, but it has some uses and some genuine enjoyment to be found. Also,
we'll give it a C.
I agree.
That makes it better than the Type 7. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
C it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it makes a good bubble taxi too.
It makes a fun bubble taxi, yeah.
I really like that idea. You really sold me on moving it up to C with the idea of the shuttlecraft and how you described using it was fleet carrier exploration. How you can kind of
it's great.
See and land close
with
enough
the
to
enhanced
things.
Performance thrusters, right? I tried it with the Eagle, but the enhanced performance thrusters make it a little too twitchy, and the hauler it will still go 700 meters a second, but it doesn't flip over like a Viper or an Eagle might if you hit the wrong button. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a shuttlecraft. I like that.
I like the argument.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, the Imperial Courier.
All right. Courier looks like an I Eagle. Flies fast. Fun to fly. I'd put it B tier just above that. Would be fine.
Yeah. Versatility,
tier.
big shields on it for a small ship.
Yeah.
It's crazy fast.
Yeah.
You can actually you can sustain a full speed collision with a courier, and you cannot in an I Eagle.
Very true. Very true.
I have a courier, and
Love
that
that
shit is so much fucking fun to fly. Like,
and it has
I
that
like
full-on sci-fi vibe to it. It's
I like that. I like the cockpit look because of how unique it is, and it's very sleek looking. I like
it's just an I Eagle plus is all it is.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Taking it like you're absolutely right. Taking it all the other category though into function, like the 3 size 2 guns on a tiny little quick frame like this is unheard of. It's rank locked, or I would want it to be A tier, but it's configurable to several different things, not at once. But you can make it pretty long range, or you can make it really fast, or you can make it decently ranged and decently fast and extremely strong. or you can put a really big shield on it. Actually, I can do a pretty high DPS and high shield at the same time. It's a really good platform for Guardian shield boosters because there's a bunch of very small slots. And if you overcharge the power plant, I have a courier that has over 1,600 shield, which is absurd in a ship that moves almost 700 meters a second. It's absurd. Very hard to kill.
As long as you don't have to drive
like
an SRV under it, it's a great ship.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't use it for that, but like it's fast, it's fun, it's got great sound to it.
Yes,
it's got a nice sleek look. The heart, it's a great. Like I like it, and I think a B tier is more than fair.
Yeah. Guys, we did it.
All right,
we did it. The only
I think
reason
we
I didn't
can
want to
recap
change
this list next week.
The only reason I didn't want to change any of the previous things is I didn't want to invalidate the opinions of people who aren't here.
Well,
Even
one
they
of
don't
those
matter.
people was Lark.
Well, I get that, but Data was also one.
Oh, you're right. All right.
Fair enough.
That was cool. That was worth going long for.
I will take
weeks.
I will take I'll save the picture of this and I'll put it into the Discord for the viewers to see.
Further discussion.
Yes, I can pin it somewhere. Where should I pin it?
I believe this can be revisited.
I'll pin it in Jig Chat.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Or
a lot of
outfitting.
ships. And a lot of ships that are different from each other in very personal, idiosyncratic kind of ways. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good job, FDev. Give us a few more, please, but good job.
Yes.
All right. So this is a long episode again, and that's fine, but let's wrap it up. What else you guys want to stick in here?
I want to say goodbye to everybody because I really got to go.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You guys can keep talking if you want, but I really got to jet.
All right.
Well, that's a show wrap on Chig.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Night, John Boy.
So now, what do you guys want to do?
Now
Okay, so
we
what
can
do we
do
really
the
think
real
about Chig?
tier list. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we can start the real tier list. That's right.
No, let's wrap up. Do you want to do our other fluff pieces, or do you want to just call it?
Well, yeah, we could do our real quick.
Well, look, the cheese of the
normal
week
stuff.
is good. The cheese of the week is going to be Kraft singles.
I'm not doing cheese of the week. And you took movies. You're not doing cheese.
Okay.
That's still mine.
Fair enough.
So cheese facts. Yeah, like I said last time, I'm not doing a cheese of the week right now. I'm doing cheese fact, cheese trivia. So the biggest and heaviest cheese ever created was 32 feet long and weighed 57,518 pounds. A Canadian Canadian cheesemaker used 540,000 pounds of milk to make this record-breaking cheddar cheese.
500,000 pounds of milk.
Yes. So that's your cheese fact this week. That's your cheese trivia.
Son of a bitch.
All right, now you can do your thing, Nerl.
Well, there's no movies to talk of because it's a dead week.
All right, good.
And next week's not great either.
No, next week's just as bad.
All right. Well, let's get out of here and I can post this thing and go to bed, and I got to teach a class tomorrow. Yeah. This was really fun though, guys. Glad to be back at it. I am going to be playing some Elite now that I've worn myself out on this other game. So it'll be good to get back into a spaceship.
All right, I will start the TEF bot. Hold on.
All right, you fired up. And in the meantime, I'm going to mention to everybody that you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/loosescrewsed. And, we don't have a lot of expenses. We keep it pretty cheap, but we do pay for a few things that help us get things like the sound effects in here. And I think we're onto a system that's going to actually be working pretty well for us now. So hopefully.
Teflon bot loading.
Here we go.
Oh, and if you
Teflon
found
bot
us
loading.
totally random, there are a couple other good podcasts. Our friends over in the UK, Lave Radio, do a live thing tomorrow, and then a couple days later, they get around to uploading it. And Hutton Orbital Trackers, of course, have a radio show too. So check out the few surviving podcasts.
If you like the show, please rate and review on your podcast player, which helps people find the show. Join us on Discord at discord.io/loosescrews. And check out the merch store at loosescrewsed.com for mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/loosescrewsed. I'm sorry, Chig. I can't do that.
All right. Thank you, robot. Please don't take over. And well,
He can't take over. I have restraining bolts on there.
All right. That'll do it for another week on Loose Screws. Try to stay fresh out there, cheese bags.
That's it for this week on Loose Screws.
Tune
Find
in
out
next
more
week
next
for
week.
another special episode.
Another exciting adventure of the Loose Screws podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. See you next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.